Hi there, I just thought I'd start off. I found this page. I thought I'd start off with showing you that I got a Fulbright scholarship back in 2011. I found this page while I was looking at the website, and I can look up the Fulbright grantee directory. I can look my name up, and there I am. I can click on myself. Back in 2011, I applied through Arizona State University for international relations, and that's my proposal, title-ish, and a summary, I suppose. So yeah, that was neat. I I can't overestimate, I think, the value that I got from doing this Fulbright out there. It gave me a chance to spend 9 months in Macedonia. I taught at the university there for a little bit. I was able to get some research done, to interview some people who were living there, to go to the National Archives. Lots of interesting cultural activities. At the embassy, at the ambassador's residence, met interesting people all over the place, and got my research done for my dissertation. So very worthwhile program, obviously, and yeah. So I want you to consider this one as well as the boring. Consider either of these two and write. Remember, we're writing a draft proposal for this. So I'm going to go through what that entails, but first I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this. One thing that's different from the boring is that every part of the world is open for this, right? Let's click on the countries that are involved in this. I mean, we look there, see those green countries. That's all the countries, right? What is this? Europe and Eurasia. That's pretty much all of the countries in Europe and Eurasia is open to you. Spain is open to you. France is open to you. Germany is open to you. Let's see if we wanted to go to the Western Hemisphere. Let's see, Canada. Canada is open to you, right? These are not open to you for the boring, but they are open to you for Fulbright. Argentina, Brazil, these guys, I guess, are not. Yeah, so unless they're in the, no, they're not. Pretty much any country in the world you can go to. This one, though, yeah. So that's the first thing I want to say, right? That pretty much every country in Africa, okay, there's fewer countries that are open to you, but there's still a lot, right? A lot of countries open to you there. East Asia, Pacific, a lot of countries. Well, yeah, China. Yeah, some of these other countries, they just have it in different regions. That's all. South and Central Asia, that's going to be India and Pakistan. Pakistan might not be open to you. Okay. So yeah, a lot of countries are open to you for this. I want to point out, though, with the countries, I want to point out that if you look up here in the top right-hand corner, you've got the statistics. And this will actually tell you the application statistics on here. If you click on this top one, study research and English teaching assistant statistics, and it's going to tell you how many people have applied over the last 3 years and how many people were granted. So let's take, Western Europe or Australia. These are going to be the most popular ones. Canada, right? Most popular ones. Let's have a look at Australia. So we'll see if we click on Australia, we'll see in 2018 to 19, we had 84 applications and 5 awards. The year before, 17 to 18, we had 87 applications and 8 awards. So roughly like 1 in 10, 1 in 11 people are getting them there. And this is one of the more competitive places. And so this is not outside of the realms of possibility at all. Of course, the people who are applying for these are quality candidates. Right, so it's 10% of those quality candidates, but nevertheless, let's choose Europe. Let's look at Britain or Germany. Let's take Germany, I guess. Probably another popular one. Let's see. Here we go. 311 applications, but 65 awards. That's roughly, what's that? Better than 1 in 5 chance there. I do want to have a look at the United Kingdom. Make Britain relevant again. That's what I say. Let's have a quick look at this one. I don't know. I keep doing it. All right, I'm going to be patient this time. All right, there we go. Okay, here's why it's interesting to click on those countries, is that some countries, like the United Kingdom, have a ton of different awards. Right, Fulbright is sponsoring a ton of awards in Britain. Right, is there a total at the bottom? Here we go. Total study research, 719 people, but 43 got it. What's that? That's just under 1 in 15. So these are not outside the realm of possibility. Let me show you. Let's have a look at Macedonia, right, where I went. Let's have a look at this one. Look at this. How many applicants are they getting? 1. Award 0, award 0. Here in this year, we've had 2 applications, 2 awards. Right? There are countries out there like this, where 2 people applied, 2 people got it. I know it was a little bit more competitive when I applied, but not that much, not that competitive though. Still, have a look at Montenegro. Let's have a look at this one. That's a bit more populous. 12 too. Sometimes what you find is the ones that weren't very popular last year, people tactically apply to them, and so it goes up. That doesn't seem to quite be happening here. The number of applications is just steadily rising, but they've got 2 awards. What else would be unpopular? I didn't mean to pick on the Montenegrins as being unpopular. I'm sure there's a lot going for them. What about Kosovo? 4-2. Yeah, 50-50 chance. Right, so there's definitely countries out there that you have a good chance of being selected for, just on the numbers, right? On the numbers out of applicants, before you even start to think about the quality, right, of your application. Yeah, so let's go into eligibility. This is something, so with the boring, you could really apply right now, right? Assuming you've got your GED and your high school graduation, which I'm sure you have, assuming you're in a bachelor's program, which most of you are, you can apply for it today. The Fulbright, you have to have a degree. You have to have a undergraduate degree. So this is something that maybe, in the next year or 2, it's worth thinking about now and preparing for now, even as early as like your kind of freshman, sophomore year. It's well worth thinking about. But obviously you're gonna have to wait until you're gonna have your degree before you can apply. There's a preference here. Everybody's out, like most of you are going to be eligible to apply, but you've got to be in good health. You've got to have the degree before the start of the grant. You've got to be an American citizen or an American national. This is one of the reasons why I got my citizenship when I did. I wanted to make sure I was eligible for this, so I got my citizenship very quickly as soon as I could get it. But what they're looking for people who might not, if you've been living in, let's say you've been living in Japan, let's say you're in Japan right now, you've been living there for a couple of years, you're going to be less competitive, because they're going to say, look, you're already there, you've had the experience. The Fulbright is about 2 things, right? It's about diplomacy, first of all. It's about public diplomacy. It's about sending out Americans from all different types of backgrounds, with all different types of interests, educated, interesting, compelling Americans out into the world, so that people will meet you, you'll interact with the people over there, and people will say, yeah, America's not a bad country. I know somebody from America, and they were good people, and they had an interest in my country, right? They came to study something specific in my country, and they conducted themselves well. Right, so that's what they're looking for. That's the number one, I think, kind of goal behind the Fulbright, right? Is that public diplomacy. Right? You're the face of America. They want you to represent yourself as an American while you're over there, which if you're a citizen, you can't. Sometimes it was funny for me with my accent, right? Of course, to many of you who are listening to this, you can tell, right? This person didn't grow up in America. But oftentimes in Macedonia, there was no, you say you're American, they couldn't differentiate the accents most of the time, so I didn't get many questions or funny looks. But they would start to ask me about the NBA, and then I would be like, I'm not really sure about the NBA. Let's talk about the Premier League, and then they would get confused a bit. But a lot of fans of the NBA in Macedonia, probably all over the world, I imagine. Okay, so yeah, that's the idea behind it. So if you're already in Japan, you're already doing that, right, for free, right? So why you're already also having the international experience. So you might be not less eligible. You're still fully eligible, but you might be less competitive. So that's the kind of thing that they're thinking about. If you already have, I think, a terminal, like if you already have a PhD or you already have an MD, I think you can have. It says here you can have a JD, but if you already have like a terminal degree, then there's another program, right? The Fulbright Scholars, right, which will be different. This is the student program. There's a scholar program which you'd be eligible for, but not for this one. Okay, so yeah, those are the things. Let's go to the let's go to the application components, because this is what I want you to do. Certainly have a look at this website, have an in-depth look at it, but I want you to apply or do the mock application, do your draft mock application for a study research. There's different types of grants. Have a look at those, because it might be that in the future you want to apply for an English teaching assistantship. Right? You might want to do that. But for the purposes of this course, I want you to do a study research academic grant application. Look at here are the application components. What I want you to do, I don't want you to worry about anything except for the statement of grant purpose. And so it's a 2-page document. It's 2 pages, single-spaced. So it's going to be very close to the same number of words as the board. Right? It's 2-page document, and it's single-spaced. Now, if for me you want to do a double-spaced but do 4 pages, that's fine. 2 pages, and this is the description of what it is. It's about what you propose to do. The Fulbright is completely open. So this is cool if you have a specific interest, specific idea that anywhere in the world that you'd like to do. And you've got to talk about how it, what the project is, how it's feasible, how it's going to help you to engage with the community, how it's going to impact your future career, that sort of thing. Have a look at these. It's got to be either a research program or a research project or a degree program. So either way, you've got to describe the who, what, when, where, why, and how of that. There's some application tips I want you to check out over here on the left-hand column. Look, application tips. Have a look at these again for study and research, academic tips, and go down here for again statement of grant purpose. This is what I'll ask you to hand in this week if you choose Fulbright. Here we go, independent study research program. And so the good thing about this, right, is that it's got a whole list of questions, so you can just work off this list of questions. Don't break them up in your paper. Try and make it flow right into one paper with that's covering all this information. But it might help you because it's got 15, 20 questions. Some of these down here. Make sure if you cover all of that, you'll easily write 2 pages without even thinking about it. So this will really guide it very well. So this one might be the way to go. It might be a little bit shorter with the 2 pages, but again, do like 11, 12 point font, at 12 point at the most, and do single space, and don't leave a lot of room in your paragraphs. When I did mine, it was crammed in there. There was so little space. Everything was. I think I reduced the size of my font and I squashed everything in there, and I still had to cut stuff out. So do this. Note the application timeline. Actually, it's approaching very quickly for this year. It's like, I think the national deadline is October the 9th. But we've probably already had the school deadline. The way it works is you send this application off through ASU. Since you're an ASU student, send it off through ASU. There's people who will help you with it here. They'll have a panel interview, and they'll give you some suggestions for making your application materials more competitive. And then once they pass it, it'll go off to the National Selection Committee, the IIE, and they'll decide. They'll actually decide in conjunction with the embassy, oftentimes, of the country that you're going to, with the staff at the embassy there, the officers there. Sometimes there's a Fulbright committee in the country that they'll also liaise with as well, so which might be connected with the embassy as well. So yeah, that's how it works. But so usually the deadline, the institution deadline, is probably already passed for ASU for this year. But you could, if you wanted to really go ahead with this, you could do it next year or whenever you're close to getting your degree. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to say I'm looking forward to reading these. Any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, but all the instructions are really here on the website for you to do. So again, good luck with these. I look forward to seeing them, and I will give you some feedback.